the OldPreMeds podcast, session number 177. You're a non-traditional student entering the medical field on your terms. You may have had some hiccups along the way, but now you're ready to change course and go back and serve others as a physician. This podcast is here to help answer your questions and help educate you on your non-traditional journey to becoming a physician. Welcome to the OldPreMeds podcast. My name is Dr. Ryan Gray, and I am your host here every week for the OldPreMeds podcast. Now, what is an OldPreMed? Well, it has nothing to do with age. It has everything to do with being a non-traditional pre-med student, and that definition is becoming more and more blurred every day as more and more students are becoming non-traditional. And so thank you for taking the time to join me today. I have an interesting question today that I don't know if you're going to like the answer, but we're going to try to answer it anyway. And the question is all about CVs, right? Your resumes, although CVs and resumes are technically different, I think. I don't know the specifics, but let's go ahead and dive into our question. And it's just a list of 3 questions. Number 1, should a non-traditional student's CV include all the colleges attended or just the ones in which they received their degree or degrees? I'll answer that one first. We'll go line by line here, question by question. We'll answer them as we go. So a CV, sure, include every school that you've gone to, right? I'm going to answer these questions, then I'm going to give you some more information at the end. Include everything. Why not? Number 2, what recommendations can you make to help us non-treds decipher what should be included in our CV and what should not? For example, which previous jobs, extracurriculars, etc. So I'm of the thinking that your CV should be pretty directed, pretty customized for whatever you are applying for, right? So if you're applying for a job in, working in the automobile industry, try to put as much information about automobiles that you have as possible. Or if you are trying to highlight certain specific skills that you think are going to work well in that industry, highlight on your CV and put experiences that are going to highlight those skills. All right, and then question number 3, Dr. Gray, do you have any example CVs for non-traditional students of you? And here's where you might not like my answer. I don't, because I don't know why you need a CV, right? So everything that I talk about is for getting into medical school. And when it comes to applying to medical school, you don't need a CV. Is there going to be one specific professor out there who when you ask for a letter of recommendation, they're going to ask for your CV or your resume, whatever? Maybe. Throw something together and give it to him or her. But for your application, right, your AMCAS application, your COMAS application, your TMD SAS application, you don't need your CV. Now, a lot of people will tell you to have a CV ready to go for your applications so that you can remember what you've done. And sure, if you want to have a CV for that, great. I think it's a waste of time because you're going to be formatting it and making sure it's pretty, and you're going to limit what you put on it because you don't want to have too long of a CV. And that's why I recommend journaling instead of having a CV, because that way you just have a journal entry of an activity and you just write as much as you want about that activity. You don't have to cram it into a specific format for a CV or for a resume. So as you're going through this process, for the application process specifically, you don't need a CV. You don't need a resume. Students try to send me them as I'm working with them for their applications. They're like, hey, can you review my CV? I'm like, why? You don't need it. You don't need it. It's not important. Okay? So as you're going through this process, don't waste your time on CVs. Now, if there is a specific school out there that requires it for their secondary, great. Let me know. It'd be good to know what schools are out there. I don't think there are, right? We have our new secondary essay database out there. Maybe I should review all of those questions again, look through them again. But if you know of a specific school that's asking for one, let me know. If you want to check out our secondary essay database, you can do so at secondaryapps.com. And that's secondaryapps.com. So we have all the questions for secondaries that are newly updated and will continually be updated through the application season. All right, that's all I got for you today. Don't waste your time on that CV. Journal instead. If you have a question you want answered here on the Old Premeds podcast, go to premedforums.com and ask your question there. Hope you have a great week. We'll see you next time here on the Old Premeds podcast.